Since you brought it up, what went into your decision in the offseason? Go into the portal and come out of the portal?
When you go, like, I was here at that point for 5 years. You kind of sometimes go through that point in your life, but when you leave and come back, sometimes you realize how special a place is and how really special your teammates are when you do something like that. You talk to other coaches, you talk to other places, and you realize that it's hard to find an ideal and a culture like we have here. Even though like everybody's going to bring up, last season wasn't exactly what you want in a season, especially at a Power 5 level, or anywhere for that matter. You realize how close the team sticks together and how much you grow in times of adversity.
Did the coaches talk to you about? Did they coach you into coming back, or did you make your own decision?
I talked to a lot of the coaching staff throughout that process. Coach Manalack called me pretty much every day, trying to just talk to me about what's going on. Is there any chance that I can come back? Really feeling that love from not just Coach Manalack, but the rest of the coaching staff that did reach out to me. Really makes you well known how much you enjoy a place and how much you impact it. I'd like to think that I made here and that they've made on me throughout the years.
What was his reaction when you told him you were coming back?
I think it was happy on both accounts. I think both of us were ecstatic that I made a decision. Personally, I hated that process while I was going through it in high school. For lack of a better term, I don't like people blowing smoke, and that's a lot of the. As many people know, that's a lot of the coaching, or not the coaching, the recruiting aspect of things, is telling you what you want to hear.
What was more difficult, your decision to return, or talking through that noise when you're answering that question? I'm just joking.
I don't know. That was pretty tough.
Yeah, no. But was it awkward at all? Like, having to return. Like, you tell everyone, hey, I'm gone. Like, I'm going into the portal, and you continue those conversations. But was it awkward for you to say, like, hey, like, I know you might have started planning to fill my spot, but like, I want to come back. Was it awkward on your end at all?
Are you referring to from the coaching staff perspective?
For just your interaction, like letting them know, like, hey, I might come back. Was that awkward for you at all? Or
from the coaching staff perspective, it was. I had the feeling they always wanted me to come back regardless. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like I like. I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this, but it wasn't as if I didn't have any other place to go. I don't want you to think that. It was more. It was more. This is my home.
Right. Like
at the end of the day, this is the home that I didn't necessarily want to leave at the time. I felt as though like it was time to kind of step out, but realizing that this is home, this is where I belong. These are the people that I've come to call family throughout the years that I couldn't imagine the day without right now. Like it's hard to leave something like that fully behind, especially when like coaches come to see your families.
Yeah.
Like they come to see they know everybody on a first name basis. They ask you how your mom's doing, how your dad's doing, how your grandparents are doing. They know everything about you at this point. So that is family, especially when they care about you so much.
What do you guys have to do to get back to playing your style of defense compared to how you guys have been? You've been here when you guys have been a lot better.
I think we just need to get that edge back, which is something I think that we've strived for over the past 2 days of spring practice. You can feel it and see it in the air already. As far as how we attack the football, how we pursue the ball, how we're striving to make little changes on defense to make sure that we get back to how we once were in 2021, 2022. Last year was a hiccup. I don't want people to think that that's who we are as a football team, because it's not. At the end of the day, we are a smash mouth, blue collar football team that's going to try and knock your teeth out your back end. So that's how we approach this spring ball, getting back to what we're doing, how we've done it in the past, and who we really are.
That would give you the belief that 3-win was a hiccup, and what are you guys doing to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like I said, the mentality we have here is not a 3-win football team. The mentality we have here is we're going to walk out and dominate every play, every snap, every second of a football game. It lets you know that you're playing good games. And that's the ideal that we've set forth in the past. You look in the back, one of our 4 pillars is toughness. That's something that we maybe lapsed on a little bit last year, but that's no more. We're a tough football team. We're going to show people how tough we are in the coming games.
How did you see the young linebackers of Braden, Jordan, and Sheen develop over the course of last offseason throughout the entire season?
Oh, they've developed like nothing I've ever seen from a young crew. They're very professional. They're very much in tune with their craft. They're here late. They're here early. They're here studying film. They're here trying to get their bodies right, recovering, doing everything like a professional would, alongside of doing classes. Again, we are student athletes. So at the end of the day, they're doing everything like a professional, like they're here year 4 or 5. They're doing things like you should, and they're coming along great. The leaps and strides from Monday to today is outstanding. The little details that they've improved upon in 2 days, that we've all improved upon in 2 days, is outstanding. You can tell the attention to detail is there, just like OBI.
I know it's early, but are you kind of running the show from that linebacker position?
I wouldn't say running the show, because I'd say it's more of a collective. Like, as far like, if you guys are out of practice, you see Braylon running the 2 Mike. Braylon's really stepping foot into that role, showing who he is. You're getting young guys like Jeremiah Marcelin who are starting to come around, understand what's going on. We're running things like we should run things. It's everybody's holding everybody else accountable, and they're accepting accountability for mistakes. That's what we need to do to continue and going forward to make sure that we are a better football team.
Just circle back about what you said about how the assistants, they know your family and everything. I mean, you've been around college football through all these changes, right? And it is a lot harder to get to know everyone's family now as a coach because of the roster turnover year by year. What does that say about your coaching staff, that despite so many coming and going guys, with the portal and everything, that they still make that effort to know every single guy here on a personal level?
At the end of the day, a coach is not just a coach. He's a father figure. He's a member of your family. He's someone to guide you instead of some of your family that isn't here with you at the moment. So that being said, that at the end of the day, that will never change. Like, you can say NIL changes this, NIL changes that. We come here to play football. If you go someplace just to sign a check or get a check, you're not doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it for what football can do for you, not for what you can do for football. Not be for the love of the game. And I think that's what a lot of the coaching staff here really instills in a lot of us. Is at the end of the day, like, you can say I want to do this for the money, but then you ain't gonna be doing it for the money long. This is where you're at right now. You have to be where your feet are. You gotta love the game. You gotta approach it with that love, or else you're never gonna get better. That's what the coaching staff instills in us. That's why they're one of the best coaching staffs in the land.
Do you see how these new things in the game have kind of made their jobs harder? And with that observation, do you also recognize their extra effort to continue, preaching the same message?
Yeah, I can see it's definitely added another layer, I guess you could say, because it is what it is. It's the name of the game. It's how the game is transformed over since I've been in school. Heck, when I started, you couldn't do that. You got in trouble. People were passing out in Arby's bags other places, but at the end of the day, like, it just adds another facet, another thing they have to deal with, which I think they've done a phenomenal job. As you look at the kids that we bring in, we don't bring in just kids that are good football players. We bring in kids of character, kids that belong here and want to be here, not just that aren't just here for a check.
Anything else from Miranda? Right. So, like, you guys in practice against, getting ready for Tennessee or other tempo teams, that's the offense you play against every day. What's that like for defense?
It's definitely a little bit interesting. Most of the time, we don't see tempo until later on in the season. Like, we've had an offense in the past couple of years that's run a lot of 12 and 13 personnel, real slow, huddle it up. That's no more. Coach Bell's done an awesome job bringing it in, teaching guys signals where our offensive guys haven't really had to learn signals before. And they're definitely going at a fast tempo. So for the defense, we've seen it before, but we haven't seen it this early. So I think it's really helping us out, helping us make sure our eyes are disciplined, making sure we know our assignment through in and out, making sure we know everything that goes on throughout the game, not just your job. So seeing that coming forth at this early in the game, practice 1 spring ball, practice 2, seeing the growth that they've made is phenomenal. I think it's going to be one heck of a show.
Brandon, what can you say about Key Thompson, the veteran guy like yourself, that you really should like with him?
Key Thompson's definitely shown a lot of maturity, especially being around us right now. He's fit in. He hasn't. Sometimes guys come in, they don't really know how to maneuver, I guess, because especially being an older guy, you're so used to a different system. But Key has done a wonderful job of kind of melding in, learning, asking questions, acting like a professional, doing everything he needs to do to make sure he's ready when his number's called, make sure he's doing everything he needs to do so we can attack the day and make sure we're all good for this coming season.